Peace for the Troubled Heart by Herman Hoeksema. Chapter 7. Rest for the Weary. Come unto me, all ye that labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Part 2. Rest. Blessed word. Thrice blessed for the weary and toiling soul. It is not simply to cease from toil and struggle. It is far more. It is to cease from the work in the consciousness, to know that the task is completed, the work is done, and the end is achieved, and to rejoice in the finished product. It is the glorious feeling of body and soul that we may enter into and enjoy the fruit of a completed work. Thus it is naturally, and thus it is spiritually. What a task that must be accomplished is pressed down upon our weary soul. What mountains of sin and guilt that must be removed rise up before our consciousness. Sin is our actual walk, sin with all the members of the body, sin in our thoughts, sin in our deepest heart, sin in all our planning and desiring. Sin is what we did and said and thought and wished. Sin is what we did not do and think and say and wish. Sin is the present. Sin is the past. Sin everywhere, as far as the eye can see. And then, when we penetrate more deeply into this horrible reality of sin, we find that it is not merely a matter of acting, but a matter of our very being, for out of the heart are the issues of life. And the heart is corrupt, hopelessly corrupt, and from it, as a boiling and bubbling fountain, arise all our actual sins. Before we can hope to remove the mountain of our actual guilt, that heart must be cleansed. The corrupt fountain of iniquity must be changed into a clear stream of love. And searching more deeply still into this awful mystery of sin, we discover that the deepest source of this foul mountain of iniquity is not even in our individual hearts and lives, but is connected with a rushing stream of sin and guilt that leads us to the source, back into paradise of yore. And we find that it will be of no avail to even attempt to cleanse the fountain of foul sin in our own heart, unless we could first cleanse that deepest and original source of it all. What a task! How disheartening to know that there is no life, no peace, no comfort and joy for our troubled soul unless the task is finished. Guilt is blotted out. The stain of sin is removed. The heart is cleansed. The foul fountain of iniquity is changed into a stream of living love. And then to have struggled and toiled until all our strength was exhausted, and to know that we utterly failed, so utterly that the end of all our toil is greater sin and heavier burdens. And then to learn that there is rest, to know that the task is accomplished, that the stream of our guilt is washed away, that we may cease from toiling in the blessed knowledge that all is finished, that there is righteousness and sanctification, wisdom and redemption, peace and joy and comfort, and eternal life in God's blessed communion. Comfort, weary toiler, for you. The task is completed, accomplished for you. Rest.